Good morning, JNG. The topic of integrity today may sound simple, but amidst a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, it's a daily challenge to be able to consistently live this value. It's a value that is so close to my heart. That's why when Jello asked if I would still like to speak today, I said I will. I would not pass the chance to talk about this to the community. I would like to just share a piece of my heart with all of you. So I admit that I am no expert in this topic, but I will try my best to explain how, in my humble opinion, we can live a life with integrity and how to act when we are faced with a situation wherein our integrity is tested. Yet it's not that simple for two reasons. First, it is our tendency to rationalize behavior. For example, if you ask whether or not it is right to cheat, most will say that cheating is wrong. Yet research suggests that as many as 95% of such students admit to having engaged in some form of cheating. O, di ba? Sino ba ang hindi nakapag-attempt or nag-cheat when we were in school, di ba? So, I think a lot of people can resonate with this. Most of the time, this involves a specific incident when the students had to make a choice. In hindsight, the students justify the choice as not really cheating. It was no big deal or something that everyone else does. In other words, they rationalize their situational behavior, and this way they can still consider themselves to be honest. The reality is that all of us face integrity-based choices on a regular basis. If we come in late, do we tell our boss that the reason is we woke up late, or do we blame it on the traffic? I have had encounters with these situations in the past, so I'd like to tell that story. In XO, that's where I started. Kaya baka magtaka kayo, bata pa ang JNG, bakit ang tagal ko na sa company? I came to know of incidents of engineers from the site engineer all the way up to the GM who received 100 pesos to 300 pesos per house awarded for construction from the contractors. The contractors were very grateful because they were able to get livelihoods and contracts with us. We had to call in the NBI. It was very serious to investigate them. When we were investigating them, they defended their side by saying they did not steal and it was freely given to them. They were adamant that there was nothing wrong with their practice. They even went to Dole to complain against the company. They were all terminated, but don't worry, they are all not here. I guarantee you that. And that leads to the second reason why integrity is so difficult. Everyone defines integrity differently. When I was new in the corporate world many years ago, I worked as a staff in the purchasing department. Of course, during Christmas time, a lot of contractors and suppliers would give us gifts, and it is the company policy to raffle off the gifts. During my very first year in the company, I was surprised when my department head gave me a small box coming from one of the suppliers, and he asked me to open it in front of him. And of course, I did as I was told. Inside was a pocket calculator, and if you open the pocket calculator, it has a parang like a cover, and inside that cover was 200 pesos. At that time, I think 200 pesos would be close to 1,000 or something. I handed back the calculator with the money inside to him. I said, okay, sige. Sabi ko, I'll return this already to the HR or should I hand it to you? So he took the calculator instead and he said, keep the money, keep the 200. It's all right. We did not steal it and HR will not know. So ano dapat ang tama? Give ba or keep? So let's think about that. This is what I meant that everyone defines integrity differently. Just because no one knows about it, it does not mean it is right anyway. Falsifying information to one person might be considered acceptable business practice to another. This is further exacerbated by differences in culture. For example, some business culture, people are expected to openly do favors for each other, while in other cultures, those favors would be considered bribes. I guess you know what I'm talking about. The rationalization and the difficulties of definition reveal integrity as a subject that is neither easy nor simple. That's why solely relying on compliance functions, policies, rules, and audits is usually inadequate. These mechanisms guard against gross and clear violations of integrity standards. These choices require personal judgment. The consciousness to live with integrity should be within us. So what is J&G's definition of integrity? Joy mentioned that already a while ago. It is our choice to be honorably courageous and consistent in conducting ourselves in wholeness, honestly, and fairness, truthfully. What resonates with me and are the words courageously and consistently. Those are two two very, very difficult things to do consistently. Integrity is not just a corporate responsibility, but it is a personal one as it starts with us. The word integrity comes from the Latin adjective integer, meaning whole or complete. In this context, integrity is the inner sense of wholeness, deriving from qualities such as honesty and consistency of character. Integrity is a quality of having strong ethical or moral principles and following them at all times. A person with integrity acts with honesty, honor, and truthfulness. Integrity is a valuable skill in an employee because it indicates that they will perform to the best of their ability and act on their principles. So my next question is an honest person a person of integrity? Can you please all place your answers in the chat box? Majority of the answers is yes. Let's see. So here it is. What is the difference between honesty and karamihan nagsabi an honest person is a person of integrity. Yes, that's correct. But an honest person may not be a person of integrity all the time, and this is why. Honesty versus integrity. In definition, honesty is being truthful. Integrity means being steadfast, adhering to a moral or ethical code. In words or actions, honesty deals with words, integrity deals with actions. In the moral code, it does not imply that a person adheres to a moral code. Integrity, it implies that a person adheres to a moral code. Interdependence, not a guarantee of integrity. Honesty is not a guarantee of integrity, but integrity is a guarantee of honesty. A person of integrity is always guided by a moral compass. With a moral compass, there is an inner sense which distinguishes what is right from what is wrong, functioning as a guide, like the needle in a compass, for morally appropriate behavior. We will have the ability to judge what is right and wrong and act accordingly. So why is integrity important? Living a life of integrity means that we never have to spend time or energy questioning ourselves. When we listen to our hearts and do the right thing, life becomes simple. Our life and our actions are open for everyone to see. We don't have to worry about hiding anything. What you see is what you get. When we have integrity, we gain the trust of our leaders, our colleagues, and our team. We're very dependable. We hold ourselves accountable for our actions, and we become role models for others to follow. All of this in turn directly impacts our success. People who live and work with integrity are more likely to succeed because integrity is a hallmark of ethical leadership. And J&G wants leaders that we can trust. And when you demonstrate integrity, you show everyone that you can be trusted. So how do you develop and preserve integrity? First, we define our values. You can't live by values if you don't know what you truly believe in. So start by defining your core values. These are the values that no matter what happens, you're not going to compromise on. Personally, growing up, my parents made sure that the value of honesty is inculcated in all of us and to always maintain our credibility. I admit that it's not easy, but I strive every day to do so. I am sure all of us, all of you, were taught the same. Number two is to analyze every choice we make. Often people cut corners or make bad choices because when they think no one is watching, pwede. Wala namang nakatingin eh. Okay lang. Nobody will know. Having integrity means that no matter what, you make the right choice, especially when no one is watching. You'll usually know what's right and wrong, although sometimes you might need some quiet time to reflect or a space to figure it out. If you're not sure that you're making the right choice, ask yourself a question. If I make this choice, will I feel okay with myself afterwards? If my decision was published or was posted on all the social media, will I still be okay? But if you're not ready to make the choice, don't push yourself, give yourself some time so that you will be sure that the choice you make is really the right choice for you. The third way is to encourage integrity. People with integrity often have same characteristics. They're humble, they have strong sense of self, they have high self-esteem, and they are self-confident. These characteristics are important because sometimes you'll be under pressure, intense pressure from others to make the wrong choice. It's good for you to have friends who also live with integrity. So how do we maintain integrity during tough times? Number one, we have to be fearful of God. Nandyan si Big Brother. He sees us. He knows. Kala natin wala. Walang tao sa kwarto. Walang tao sa office. Walang tao sa paligid natin. But God is there. He's everywhere. Iniisip pa lang natin, He already knows. So don't ever think that no one is watching. Big Brother is watching. Let us always follow Him and obey the 10 Commandments. If you just obey the 10 Commandments, you'll never go wrong with your life. Of course, di ba? What you sow is what you reap. Number two, remember your values always and what motivates you. Let's go back to the basics. What did our parents constantly remind us of? Balik tayo kung ano tayo nung pagkabata. Sometimes we get so embroiled with the daily hustle and bustle of life, we forget the basics. We forget what our parents taught us. For me, my core values are honesty, loyalty, humility, and of course, our Christhood values. Situations may change, underlying values remain constant. It will be our anchor. It will be our anchor and the basis of all the things in all our decision making. Let your values be your North Star. Let it lead you. Rethink what it means to be comfortable with your decision. Do you feel comfortable or uncomfortable with your decision? Being comfortable is enticing, but not always the right decision. Going the easy way out always We are always prone to taking the easy way out. That's a natural human tendency. But we always have to remember that making the right decision, no matter how difficult, is what is most important. Seeking comfort in difficult situations many times places you in a crowd. Doing what everyone else is doing does not make it right. It does not mean if like in the case, the story that I talked about uh, earlier on about the engineers in the project site, because the head was doing it, they thought everything was all right, that it is condoned by the company. What went wrong? Not They did not have that moral compass, so they cannot decide for themselves. They were not anchored on their values. They were not fearful of God. So when the leader did accepted the bribe or got the money from the contractors, they thought, okay, si boss naman ginawa yon, so that's all right. If I make the choice, always remember, if we make a certain choice, we should be able to live with it. But if our values are so strong, then we have no fear. We can go ahead with our choice as long as it's anchored on God and our values. Face the truth with courage. The truth will set you free. Embrace it. There will be more clarity in your thoughts. Sometimes we are afraid to tell the truth because we are afraid of the consequences. When we were little, diba? If we failed in school, if we got low grades, and the expectation of our parents is high, we hide that from our parents. We hear about stories about students or family members or children. I've heard stories about children of my friends faking the signatures of their parents because they were very afraid to present the report cards. That's why it takes a lot of courage. For the truth will set you free, as mentioned. Lastly, think about how you want to be remembered. My family and I have personally experienced how our loved one who has passed helped us ease the pain of losing him because his friends and the community he served remembered him for his uncompromised integrity. That's what we mean by saying that pag nawala tayo sa mundo, paano tayo maalala ng ating mga kaibigan? What do we want to hear if they were to give a tribute? What will people write in our epitaph? Will it be nice? Will it be full of scorn? Will it be hatred? It's up to us to build that. Remember, integrity is not a value that we should live by when it's convenient. It's the value that should be lived by all the time. This includes the big choices and the little choices, the choices everyone sees and the choices no one sees. What else do we need? So to complete my talk for today, for integrity, we have to be courageous and consistent. We have to be humble. Pride gets us nowhere. Humility will. With humility, you will embrace anything and everything that comes your way. You will be consistent. Be responsible. Commit and be accountable for your actions. If you make a mistake, admit to it, but do whatever it takes to correct it. Learn from it. Be inclusive. Be open to everyone. Listen to everyone. If you are inclusive, you will recognize and welcome the people around you. You will not put up a wall because you don't have anything to hide. Be sincere. You have no hidden agenda. In everything you do it because you sincerely want to help people. Be trustworthy. You cannot be a person of integrity if you're not honest and trustworthy. It should be a given. And above all, without Christ, Christ, ginaya ko lang si Sir, we cannot do all of the above. We should always seek His guidance so our thoughts and actions will be always in accordance to His will. Our love for our Lord will always make us whole. We will be complete and whole with Christ. Complete and whole, the meaning of integer, which is the Latin word for integrity. So I would like to end my short talk with this video para magising yung mga lahat na natutulog. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Mylene, for that powerful talk about integrity. Thank you for inspiring the J&G community. Now, to facilitate our next segment, may I invite our Organization Development Officer, Mr. Jello Pohol.
Thank you, Ms. Jobs. And again, thank you so much, Ms. Mylene. I doubt anyone was sleeping, so don't worry. We truly learned a lot from you, especially about courage, being honest, no? And of course, being consistent with our work. Now, to share thoughts and probably questions no, with you, we have with us 4 panelists. The very first panelist we have is actually a resident speaker here in Joy Nostalg. She is a professor from the Ateneo de Manila Psychology Department and a psychologist from the Ateneo Bolatao Center. So let's welcome Miss Joey Umandap. Good afternoon, Miss Joey. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me over again and for that very inspiring talk. It's nice to see everyone.
Welcome, ma'am. So, ma'am, will you have any comments or maybe questions for our speaker?
Yeah, for Miss Mylene, actually, I was listening to it and I realized how relevant integrity really is right now because these are difficult times and sometimes we're not okay. And when she differentiated between honesty and integrity, talking about it and walking the talk, it just made me think of everyone who I've come across, like particularly my clients who are going through difficult times, and sometimes even my students. Now, a lot of the conflict happening now is because sometimes they say things that they will do that they cannot accomplish. Parang kulang yung as what Miss Mylene was talking about, that moral compass, the value. Sometimes they just say it because they feel it's the right thing, but they don't have the ability to go through with it. And yeah, I guess my question is for Miss Mylene, like seeing this, knowing this, how do you think or how do you think we can allow people to walk the talk or to stick to the talk that they know that they can walk? How do we encourage integrity in others?
I think for us to encourage people to walk the talk, we have to show them ourselves. The leaders in our community should really lead and show that we, the leaders, walk the talk. It's really difficult. What I'm saying difficult in a sense that because to be consistent, no, that it's really very difficult. Every day we are like firefighting in a sense that I mean like we have a lot of things to do. So it's like just like one job after another, one task after another, and you have to really lead your team. So sometimes you forget, there are times that we forget though, oh, I already made my commitment, or I forgot about this because I was so busy. In truth, we have been berated, scolded, our attention has been called for things that we forgot about. That's truth. No, I'm not ashamed to say that even as a leader, with my experience and stay in the company, I still do get scolded because we're not perfect. What's important is that we are able to bounce back from those mistakes and show to people that yes, okay, if you made a mistake, you can correct yourself. You can come back to me and say, okay, I'm sorry, and I'll help that person. As leaders, we really have to help our people. If we don't help our people rise after they fall by not walking the talk, who else would help them? I think that's how we should do it.
Thank you, Ms. Mylene. Yeah, that's helpful. So parang it makes it both personal and collective, right? We can help
Exactly.
each other. Thank you.
And it really should start with ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you so much, Miss Joey, and thank you, Miss Mylene. You know, ma'am, in connection to what you just shared, I remember the very first story you shared in your talk when uh, back then, many years ago, even the leader was not perfect, right? And it was you, the staff, who knew what to do, who knew what to do and what not to do. So sometimes, if our leaders can make, are not perfect and make mistakes, diba? We have to make sure that we, as staff, also have a strong sense of integrity, to remind each other, to remind the leader, and for the leader to remind us as well. All right, thank you, Miss Joey, for being here.
You
And
too.
up next, our next panelist is Mr. Dixon Tajano. He is the Property Management Officer from the Hospitality Development Unit. So good afternoon and welcome, Sir Dixon.
Good afternoon, Jello. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank Jello for inviting me to be a panelist for today's talk of Ma'am Mylene regarding integrity. I really enjoyed it. And I have a question for, I even wrote it down. Um, Ma'am Mylene was saying something about people who fall. Uh, and then my question is, if integrity is compromised and are there ways for someone to gain it back? If so, if yes, what does it take to gain integrity back?
I think if you lost your integrity, you first, of course, the first step is to acknowledge what you did wrong. What you did wrong to make you lose your integrity. And then you have to correct, like I said, you have to correct that mistake and be accountable and be responsible for that. And then you should have someone who will guide you to help you back on your feet. That's very, very important. Um, a lot of people who think what they're doing is right, it's because nobody would dare tell them that what they're doing is wrong. So if they don't have that person, a friend, a parent, sometimes there are people talaga na hindi mo talaga siya masasabihan eh. Diba? And they won't ever listen. But if that person would listen and that person has parang like a mentor or to help him, then that person will be able to help the person the other person get back on his feet. Did I answer your question, right? Sorry
Yeah.
ha, may brain fog pa talaga ako coming from ano.
Thank,
So Jello, please be kind to me because
thank you, Ma'am Mylene. That was a very good answer. No, it gives context um, uh, to to your talk.
thank you, Dixon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Dixon. Thanks, Miss Mylene. So again, the value of openness, honesty. No, but this openness comes from a sincere place, no, of concern. So thank you for that, Miss Mylene. The brain fog is not halata. Parang wala naman po. And so up next, we have with us Mr. John Edward Carino. He is the Technical Audit Specialist from the Energy Development Unit. So welcome, Sir John. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am John Edward Carino, Technical Audit Specialist of EDU. Thank you for a very nice talk, Ms. Mylene Lim. It was very applicable to my role as internal auditor. In internal audit, we are regarded as guardian of integrity. Integrity can provide insights into corporate integrity and people-related risks. And as you have mentioned, integrity is defined as the firm adherence to moral and ethical principles, which is codified within the code of conducts or the code of ethics and adopted by the governing board and senior management. As an internal audit, my best takeaway was it is one of the 5 ways to maintain integrity in tough time. I think that was number 4. Face the truth with courage. Integrity should be lived as value all the time. Be courageous, consistent, humble, responsible. The Christ's what you have said earlier. For my question, this is a situational one, and I would like to get your insights about this. Just a disclaimer, this question doesn't refer to any situation or any specific individual in the J&G group of companies. So for my question, if a certain individual had been proven to be dishonest but the act was not ground to expulsion, but this act was considered as lacking of integrity, can this person character still be developed as a colleague, as a supervisor, and as a company as a whole? What character development can be done for this person, this certain individual, ma'am?
I think if that person made a mistake, we have to see saan ba siya nagkamali, 'di ba? Tama ba yung pagkaintindi ko sa question mo? Sorry ha. Saan ba siya nagkamali and what led that person to do what he did, to lose his credibility and his integrity. It's very, very important. If you want to help a person rise back again, dapat we have to understand the source. Some people kasi commit mistakes because they are in a very thin line between, di ba yung parang sinasabi sa Tagalog, sa bingit ng kamatayan. Although it does not justify, the end does not justify the means. No? If we talk to that person and understand him or her, we'll find out which area does that person need help. Is it something spiritual? Is it something psychological? Is it something that has to do with a family problem? Is it something that is habitual? Kasi pag isang beses pa lang versus habitual, those are two different things eh. Pag isang beses pa lang nagawa, the company's code of conduct says na hindi naman siya ground for expulsion, then of course we have to reach out to that person. It is our obligation. I personally think, no, it's our obligation. If that person was a member of my team, it's my obligation to really, really, really make that person realize that what he did is wrong. What he or she did is wrong. Now, if it's habitual, ibang usapan na yan. Di ba? Yung isang beses, pwede. Pangalawang beses, hindi na talaga pwede. Sorry. Di ba? Pinagbigyan kita isang beses, that's pangalawang beses, inulit mo pa rin. I think for me, it's going to be difficult to recover the trust already, especially if that position is a position of trust. Kahit naman janitor, di ba? Kahit anong trabaho, no? Kung kahit na auditor ka, janitor ka, head ka ng isang group, whatever you're doing. Kasi all of us here in J&G, we were hired because the company believe that you are a person of integrity. In our interview sessions, we look at the character as the character of the person as one of the qualifications. If that person will meet or is aligned with our company values, then we hire that person. If not, of course, we don't force it. We have had experiences with in screening senior officers, group level. And we kasi have the Milo integrity test. Milo, integrity test, which we give to certain positions. And I don't know if Joy remembers this clearly. I should remember this very clearly. They were very, very good, very experienced, and the headhunter really fought for them. But the test said otherwise eh. No? And not just sa executives, doon din sa mga lower positions. So if we see that that person is challenged, no, parang as simple as pag inuwi ko yung stapler, hindi naman yon pagnanakaw. Diba? Pag inuwi ko yung stapler ng company, hindi naman yung pagnanakaw. It's as simple as that. But yung mga ganong cases, we really look into how the person tested and the evaluation, and we discuss that. What's our risk? What's our ganyan. So we're very, very particular. So we make sure that the people we hire are aligned to our company values. So kung tagkamali siya ng isang beses, o sige, katangahan siguro. Pag pangalawang beses, period. Hindi ko na sabihin. Censored na yon. Yun. That's it.
Thank you for that, Miss Mylene.
Thank you, John.
Sir John, and thank you, Miss Mylene. Ano kaya yung second word na yun?
Ayoko. Sorry.
I'll just ask you through chat later, ma'am. So thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. No? Context is important, diba? And of course, giving second chances. But of course, we also have to be firm to maintain the integrity of our role, diba? To make sure the company is in good hands. So thank you, Miss Mylene, for that. And of course, our last panelist for this afternoon, for the Mind session, is Mr. Rio Benitez. He is the Commission Accounting Assistant from the Property Development Unit. So, good afternoon, Sir Rio. Welcome po.
Good afternoon po, Sir Jello, and good afternoon po sa JNG, and of course po kay Ma'am Mylene Lim.
Hi, Rio.
Hi, ma'am. Bali yung po is, comment ko lang po is, natuwa po ako na nabanggit niyo po na yung integrity is doing the right thing even if no one is watching. Pero sinabi niyo po na hindi naman talaga no one is watching because God is watching. And of course, we love God. And then nabanggit na po yung sinabi na yung sundin natin yung the 10 Commandments. Kasi nga, sabi po sa John 14:15, if you love me, or si God, sabi ni God, if you love me, keep my commandment. So ayun po, kailangan natin siyang sundin sa kahit anong ginagawa natin. Palagi natin siyang isa sa isip yung 10 Commandments na binigay sa atin ng God. And then, yung question ko lang po is, ito po, parang lang din, sa isip lang din, halimbawa, hindi siya yung tunay na nangyayari, medyo disclaimer lang din tulad ni Sir. Sir. Siyempre po kami sa ito po, siyempre po kami sa control sa commission, siyempre po yung commission is money yung usapan, ganun, and then outflow sa company, yung parang ganun nga sa commission. And ito po yung tanong ko na lang, how can we improve more of our integrity if the choices are between our work and yung personal relationship po natin? Halimbawa, mga boss yung, halimbawa lang po, hindi talaga, halimbawa po, syempre sa control, may inaantay tayo mga requirements, ganyan. So, halimbawa, makulit yung boss, tapos pinapa-release na yung commission nila kahit may kulang pa. At yan, syempre, papanindigan po natin yung requirements kasi yun po yung requirements. Bali, paano pa po natin may improve para ma-practice yung integrity po natin? Ano pa po yung kailangan panatilihin natin sa sarili natin para hindi po masira at mabalance po natin yung relationship natin dun sa halimbawa sa boss or sa iba, sa customer po natin, sa client, and between dun sa integrity sa work po natin.
I think you have to, di ba sinabi ko na kanina sa integrity, it's really about establishing your own moral values first. Ikaw muna bago yung sa company. Kasi, di ba, Kung sumusunod ka lang sa company, hindi ka mag-iisip. Kasi hindi ikaw yon eh. Yun yung nangyari dun sa story ko na yung mga engineers, di ba? Parang yon K, na sumusunod kasi wala kang sariling, what do you call this? Moral, the moral values was not ingrained in them. Wala. So, pag sa mga ganyang situations, look at, aligned ba ito sa aking sarili? Pag hindi aligned, then you consult your superior. Boss, diba? Hindi kasi to eh. It's not me eh. I'm not empowered. First also, diba? Tanong mo rin, is that within your authority? Diba? If you're not empowered and you have a dilemma, you should consult your boss. Yun eh, that's the reason why the roles of the heads is very, very important, because it's to really guide our people. And then, of course, the boss can talk to that person na nangungulit. Diba? Hindi nga eh. Kulang nga ng requirement eh. So, dapat talaga, for us to have a very, what do you call this, stable organization, and to make sure that everyone is aligned, we have to make sure that we comply with the policies, no, of the company. Kasi kung i-allow mo yung isa na hindi, pagbibigyan mo yung isa, no, what would stop you from what would stop the other people from person saying, yung mga iba, no, siya pinagbigyan mo, bakit ako hindi? Kaya when I was in RMU, that was always our dilemma. I mean, not dilemma, but we are always faced with a situation like that. May mga recent cases. Diba? Bakit natin, ito, ang hirap nito. Pero, hindi, magaling yung tao eh. Pero ganito, nakapag-contribute yung tao eh. Yung ganon, diba? But at the end of the day, if that person did something that is not aligned to the company policies and our values and or our mission, very clear yung magiging decision. Diba? Pag binagbigyan mo yung isa, pagbibigyan mo lahat, edi magkakagulo na tayo. Para tayong Wild Wild West. Diba? We will live in a very chaotic environment. Hindi, ayaw natin yon, diba? Dapat talaga may sense of order in the organization so that we will be able to do what we should be doing without, so that we can do less of the firefighting. Ganon.
Thank you po. Yan. Yan lang po. Thank you.
Tama ba sagot ko?
Yes, ma'am. Okay po. Malinaw, ma'am.
Kung kulang, kung tama ako.
Tsaka
Right.
yung video niyo, ma'am, yung sa Motiversity, na totoo lang din ako pinakita niyo yun kasi madalas ako nakikinig dun sa may YouTube page kasi yung Motiversity. So, mga powerful yung mga thoughts dun. Napansin ko lang din sa video niyo, galing siya dun. Thank you po for sharing din. Yan lang.
Thank you. Sabi ko kay Jello, okay ba to? Sabi ko, gusto ko lang magising yung mga tao. Literal na magising at physical na magising.
Oh, maganda nga siya pakinggan.
So in the morning, if you're feeling slow and sleepy, just play it on your radio to wake you up. Pa-intense na agad. So once again, thank you, Sir Rio, for your very insightful question, and thank you, Miss Mylene. I'll now proceed to the chat box. We have some comments here. So someone said we have to walk the talk. No? Someone from CD also said, this is really deep. Integrity will not be easy, but it will not be always difficult if we practice and make it our character every day and every step of the way. No? Now we have a question here. The question is, does our company have a whistleblower policy? So if not, how do we encourage our employees to know that they will be protected and safe if they come forward and disclose dishonest or inappropriate actions of their fellow workers or bosses?
We don't have that, but we do encourage. Yeah, I think it's about time that we publicly announce that, to have a whistleblower policy. That's for me. I think
we may not have a written whistleblower policy. And it is good, like what Mylene says, that we draft one. But I have been with different companies outside our company. I'm a member of different company board of different companies, and there has been a whistleblower policy. And so I know what is a whistleblower policy, right? So I'm very much aware. And then I ask for many years, and because I also am part of the audit committee of the company, no? And it's a publicly listed company. No? So during the audit meetings, we would always be asked by the external auditor if we have any knowledge of any fraud and similar with respect to the company. And I remember that all of us in the audit committee, and this even includes the Prime Minister Cesar Virata, would always say, well, none that we know of. So I would also say none that I know of, because I really don't know any. But then I also ask myself, and I ask, well, it's probably very hard for me to know because I'm at the board level. I don't even participate in the operations. I don't even meet with the executives even once a week, not even once a month, because we have our board meetings are not even held once a month. It's held once every 2 months. Or and so it's very hard for me in the audit committee to actually be able to be effective in knowing if there is any fraud or similar happening, right? So then I find the question very useful, but I find us ineffective with our responsibility, because how could we be fully responsible in answering that statement if we really don't know what's going on really in the company to begin with, because we are not involved in the operations to begin with. And so I asked the auditor and asked the auditor and said, do we have the whistleblower policy in effect? And then the internal auditor says, yes, of course, sir, we have it. And then I said, is it known to the entire organization? And then she said, yes, of course, it is known to all the organization. It's part of the orientation even for new employees. I said, okay. And then I go, has anyone used that whistleblower policy? Has anyone said anything formally through that policy? And then she said, the auditor said, well, no, none. And so I said, okay, so does that mean therefore that we are clearly free from any fraud? Because nobody is saying anything. On the contrary, right? And then she said, well, I assume so, yes, right? And then I go, yes, but we just, every time we have an audit meeting, we always have all of these questions, no? Because there are questions. We get to question things left and right. Why is the account not balanced? Why are certain accomplishments delayed? Why are this and that delayed? And then we go, is this all simply because of incompetence? Or is it because precisely there are people who are already being irresponsible? It's no longer a question of incompetence, but a question of irresponsibility. And so I say, so can you then therefore tell us, the committee, that indeed there is no fraud of whatsoever going on, that nobody's covering up for anybody, right? And then that's when she said, well, I don't know. What is my point to all of this? My point to all of this is that it is good to have the whistleblowers policy, but it is unfortunately my experience that it is not also being utilized. So having one is one thing, having it utilized is another. And I challenge anybody right now to say that, do we really need to have one? For us, remember I said it is good to have one, so we should have one. But do we really need to have one? For all of us to uphold our integrity. Because the value of integrity per se, right, requires us to be truthful regardless. Like what, the last panelist, like what he
Rio.
said,
Rio.
Rio,
Rio.
right? Even if nobody is looking, certainly God sees, which is an echo to what Eileen said in her speech last February, right? When people ask Michelangelo, why did you paint so well that nobody can even see it? Because he was painting on the ceiling that is so high that people cannot see the details. And then Michelangelo answered, well, you don't see, but God sees, right? So that's the same question. Is it necessary for you, for all of us, to uphold our integrity only if there is a whistleblower policy? Shouldn't we be able to then therefore just uphold our integrity regardless, right? Now, how do we do this? Well, it's very easy, right? And don't say it's very difficult. It's very, very easy. Any of you can text anybody in the organization, right, that you will trust, that has the responsibility to act, because all of us, all of our names are all available in the Viber community. So if any of you would like to say something to Mylene, because you believe that she is the right person to take action, because she is the person who has greater integrity to address the situation, you could very well say so, right? And of course, you could very well tell Mylene and say, well, please don't get me into trouble as well. Of course, right? And integrity per se, right? Like what Mylene was saying a while ago, brings us to the truth. And who else said earlier that, or was it Mylene who also said it, that the truth will set you free? So obviously, people who are with integrity will be able to know how to address the needs to uphold the integrity. So that's the reason why I say, while we will need to have it's good to have the policy stated, I don't think it is necessary, essential for any of us to uphold our integrity. Diba? So yun.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Nong, for that. No, thank you. So, in connection with what Mr. Nong said, diba? It's nice to have, but not necessarily, diba? For us to have it. He actually asked a question in the chat box. So, Mr. Nong said, in Joy Nostalg, what is the percentage of people upholding integrity? No. I think if the percentage was high, then all the more that policy will not necessarily be utilized, right? So, in Joy Nostalg, what is the percentage of people with integrity? And I think that's something we ought to think about. So once again, before we move on, I'd like to thank Ms. Mylene for your very inspiring and insightful talk to all of us.
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank our panelists, Ms. Joey Umanda from Ateneo, and our colleagues here in Joy Nostalg, Sir Dixon, Sir Rio, and Sir John for being with us this afternoon.
Hey, Jello, sorry. Mylene, I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the percentage, in your opinion, in our organization that has integrity? And what is the percentage that has no integrity or lacking in integrity?
I think there's no exact percentage as to like I can pin down like 95. No, it should be over 90%, close to 99. Yung mga nagkakamali, iilan lang yun talaga. The fact that we were able to achieve what we set out to do, more than what we set out to do in 2020, despite the challenges, despite the pandemic, I think achieving that speaks for itself already, that the people we hired are people of integrity, from the leaders, no? Of course, the leaders, and down to the staff, down to our third-party business partners, to our contractors, to our suppliers, all our suppliers. They may be not within the JNG organization directly, but indirectly, they have helped us achieve. I look at integrity as not just, kasi it's multidimensional. It's not just being honest. It's committing to what you said you would do and doing it. The fact that despite all the challenges, with PDU led by Eileen and Mr. Nang, they were able to surpass all records and continue to break all records. It certainly speaks that it certainly is a proof that our people are really, a majority of our people are of integrity. They live with integrity. Kasi pwede naman, like even before we got paid, pwede rin naman magbulakbol kasi may bayad naman. Diba? During like last year, during the ECQ, most of us were working from home, but people really work their asses off. Parang ako, I can say that even my team then in RMU, oh my God, talagang grabe ang work. Parang you were saying, why is this more than the usual? Because it was a period of a crisis. It was different, so we all had to adjust. But the fact that people were able to adjust, that means people really live with integrity. Kasi this is my mission, this is the company's mission. This is what I have committed that I will do, even if hirap. We all did it. We all did it. So I think that's close to 99%. Kung meron dyan, talagang KT na lang talaga yon at talagang dapat wala na.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope it's true. And I hope that 95% becomes 100% because we are as strong as our weakest link. So just like the coronavirus, if there is 5% that is still out there, then it's still troublesome. So I really do hope that we are at 95%, and I do hope that we get to be 100 after today.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Nang. Thank you, Ms. Mylene. So I hope that sets a challenge to all of us, right? How to stay people with integrity, how to maintain that integrity, how to stay at 95 or even reach 100%. So once again, Ms. Mylene, thank you very much. And please, as a form of our appreciation, please accept the certificate. Let me read the contents. The certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Mylene Lim as our joyful tribute and appreciation for sharing your presence and expertise with us, and for sparking light, hope, and love in our Joy Nostalg Culture Day Mind Session. May you always continue to be the light that sparkles and shines ever so bright, creating moments of happiness and memories of hope for others. Spark joy, moreover, awarded the 7th day of May in the year of our Lord 2021. Signed, Jocelyn Labrador, Chief Executive Officer of the Resource Management Unit, and Jacinto C. Nang Jr., Group Executive Officer of the Joy Nostalg Group. Again, thank you, Ms. Mylene.
Okay, thank you, Jello. To all our panelists, thank you very much. And to that powerful talk, Ms. Mylene. Maraming salamat po.